Play that funky music.
Baby, how you feeling? Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Ooh, tired of the bullshit. Gone, dust your shoulders off.
Welcome into another episode of Trust the Process Live, only on MyNEWPhilly. Yes. Gentlemen, how you
Go
feeling
ahead,
tonight?
Digits.
I'm great.
He's great.
He feels great.
I'm all right.
He feels great.
And
Guy wins a couple of two-win football teams, and he feels great.
well, I mean, how do you feel, T'Challa?
Yeah, I'm up to T'Challa because I got the straight out of Wakanda shirt. I'm lacking today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm lacking. I forgot my dress jacket today, so I'm not gonna lie. I feel real inadequate sitting right here next to you two. It's really hurting. Y'all, if y'all can see the goosebumps, like it's cold in here.
That's what you get. You get aired out at the beginning of the episode.
Yes,
That's-
In both ways. In more ways than one.
That's fair. That's
more
fair
ways
as
than
fair
one.
gets.
It is. Well, you know who's not lacking? Mr. Hakeem the Dream Law.
Yes, sir.
He never lacks.
Shout out, young gentleman.
Shout out, my man.
Yes, sir.
Guys, so with the holidays coming up, we'll give you a little bit of holiday cheer. We're gonna go more broad in the first part of the show. Go more sports as a whole.
The wonderful world.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's all right. So we're gonna bring you down a little bit and then right back up. But we would be remiss if we did not mention the tough stretch that the Flyers are going on, which I think can be attributed to the real crushing injuries that they've suffered with Konechny and all the others getting out. Joel Farabee getting a suspension now because of that late hit, but really the gut punch, guys, has been just Oscar Lindblom getting diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare form of bone cancer. I just want to say, Oscar, we are all Oscar strong here. So if you ever do see this, man, I'm not saying you will. Our thoughts are with you, and it was really something to see not only the whole hockey community, but just sports, just analysts, former players, no matter what sports you played, all come together and express just support for this kid. You know, I mean, he's 23 years old. This is awful. So, I mean, I know I'm going to go home and put in a vote for the All-Star game. Let's try and get Oscar into the All-Star game.
I didn't know you knew about that.
Oh, come on now. No. Was that the tap out?
No, it wasn't the tap.
Okay,
No,
good.
no, no.
All right. No. We're gonna do our part to try and get Oscar into the All-Star game.
Absolutely.
I hope you do as well. We can't tell you what to do, but maybe go ahead and do it.
Take 30 seconds and just sign up for the NHL account. I know it's boring, and I'll be honest, I had to create one, but it's worth the sentiment. It's
really
worth the
is.
sentiment.
It is. We're here. We're Oscar strong. We know all of Philadelphia is, and it's great to see that other people are. But is that the only reason why the Flyers are struggling?
No. I mean, obviously that's a pretty large mental hit. You know what I mean? Like that's not something you can just kind of take in stride and just kind of run with, especially on the road. Maybe your first game's at home. You know Wells Fargo Center, whenever their next home game is, which I think tomorrow. That place is going to be insane, right? You're on the road. I don't want to say the other fans don't care, but they don't care like your fans do. They're not gonna have the standing O when Oscar Lindblom's name's announced in Minnesota and Winnipeg, where they played and got the crap beat out of them in Winnipeg, where we never play well.
Never go to Winnipeg.
And we lost, on the road the first game after to a really good home team in the Wild, who were one of the best home teams last year. Same with the Jets, right? Yeah. So it's just kind of all hitting the fan at the same time, right?
Really
in terms of the on-the-ice injuries, the Lindblom news, being on a tough road stretch in general. I mean, they're pretty shorthanded. Like, we talk about injuries in every other sport as not an excuse, but, like, it is a factor. And if you're missing, 6 of your, 9 to 12 forwards, like, on any given night, that is not easy to deal with. That's like telling Brett Brown saying, hey, you're missing 2 of Embiid, Horford, Richardson, and Simmons, and you only get to choose 4 other players on the bench and make it work.
And you're not getting one back for the season.
Exactly.
And their first line was JVR, Pitlick, and...
Yeah, they're just trying to glue things together for now while things trying to settle down.
And I mean, I know it's tough, especially when I believe he's tied for the team leading goals. So that's tough to get one of your best players and one of your top goal scorers and point getters out. But if I know the Flyers, if I know this city, if I know Philly sports, we find not only stuff but people to rally around. Do we not? So if this is one of the things that has to light a fire under the Flyers, something they need to play for and motivate them.
Yes.
As unfortunate as it is, there's something to be said for a team rallying around someone and winning because of them and winning for them, and maybe they can dust themselves off that way.
This will show us a lot about what AV means to this team, how he's going to pick them up and coach them. But again, we are all Oscar strong here.
Absolutely.
We hope you are too.
Yes.
So sticking along with the whole human element of sports, something that's in the news
Again.
cycle again.
Did it ever leave?
That it might not
That's a good
have.
question.
I think it was one of those ones at the bottom of the ESPN app that just kind of
Right.
never left. You know what the stories I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
The Patriots videotaped the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hold
now
on.
I'm not.
You
gonna,
missed something. They videotaped the 1 and 12,
Allegedly?
11, 12.
I thought that
Can we
spoke
make
for
sure
itself.
Can we make sure to say allegedly?
Well, in case
Oh,
nothing's
come
been-
on now.
nothing's
OJ
been-
allegedly
Nothing-
did it.
this
Nothing
guy just
is-
allegedly us?
OJ
Nothing is-
oh
allegedly
my
You
God.
are
did it.
innocent
The
until
tapes,
proven
the tapes couldn't have
guilty.
fit in that video player. That's just too small.
You
If
are
the tape
innocent
doesn't
until proven
fit,
guilty.
you must have quit. Come on now. So
Allegedly.
they allegedly
Thank you.
videotaped the Cincinnati Bengals. And now I just want to say, the question I have to you, 2 parts. Does this affect the Patriots dynasty? And 2, is this now a culture? Because listen, there's something to be said for 2010, the Denver Broncos doing somewhat of the same thing. 2009, the Saints have Bountygate. There's a couple other that I can mention, but the big part is this is what, the 3rd in 5 years? So
But-
doing it to the Bengals would lead you
Makes
to
no
believe
sense. Makes no sense.
it would lead you to believe this is a culture because it doesn't matter who
Who
your
it is.
opponent is.
I understand that, but I'm very glad you brought up the other teams because let's not sit here and act like the only team in sports
Everybody cheats.
that tries to get a
you
leg
ain't
up.
cheating,
you're not trying.
You're not trying. And Michael Jordan's famous quote, it's only cheating if you get caught, right? So every team does something outside of the rules to try to gain a leg up. I won't say every team, I won't generalize it like that, but I'd be willing to bet that majority of teams out there do something.
There's a reason you see the
to
play
try-
callers like this.
Like, you know what I mean?
I understand
The
that.
darling of the sports world, the Houston Astros, just came out that they were cheating to win their World Series. It was like, no.
The one-time darlings.
Not the one-time darling.
Quick fall from grace.
Quick fall from grace. It happens. But I don't think that exonerates the Patriots at all for what they're doing because I think there's one of 2 reasons why they keep getting caught. It's either a lack of making sure to take the extra precautions that you don't get caught, or a lack of respect or caring that you do keep getting
Belichick
caught.
insulted our intelligence on that press conference.
You know what I mean? Like it's by basically saying we might be doing it. I don't care if you know. I don't care if the league knows. I don't care if anybody knows. We're the Patriots. So yes, that type of thing might tarnish a dynasty and a legacy because if you keep getting caught and you don't care, that just means there's nothing you won't do.
Knowing and proving are 2 different things.
Right.
Agreed. I mean, there's really not much to add on to what you say. All I'm going to say is I'm going to take out my tinfoil hat and I'm going to put it on because you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
This has never been proven, but these cheating accusations do go as far back. Accusations go as far back as the Eagles Super Bowl. There have been accusations dropped in the 15 years since. So we're getting, hold on. Hold on. This is all coming full circle here.
2004.
But you go to culture. How do you build culture? You build culture over time, my friend. And if that culture has been put in place since 2004, there is no way that people are just like, hey, you know what, 2004 to whenever the next time they did it, nah, we're good. We're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait for the right time to do it. No, that's not how things work. If you are trying to play somebody, you are actively trying to play a set of rules or a person or whatever it is. In this case, it is very hard to believe seeing the Patriots have isolated incidents every few years with the same head coach and the same ownership and the same core nucleus of that team. It's hard to believe that it's all coincidence. It's hard to believe that somebody important pulling strings does not have a major string to pull in this. I'm not going to definitively say it's Bill Belichick. I'm not going to definitively say
You're
it's
right up to
ownership.
the line of definitively, my man. You are right, standing toes on it.
I will definitively say it's one of them, but
it's
I'm not
hard-
going to point the finger at who. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this to the Patriots organization. They're all lined up against the wall because it's one of them.
I'm not going to sit here, especially right now, and try to defend the Patriots. And,
Good.
and-
Thank you.
And try to
Saves me a lot of yelling,
Yeah,
honestly.
and try to say that you're wrong. I mean, I nor they have a leg to stand on right now, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to sit here and say your Super Bowl was stolen.
Oh,
too.
no.
You're
I'm not
get
going to say that.
Okay.
I'm not going to
Let's
say that.
stop
All I'm
shorting
saying
the
is
code.
that there
That's-
have been
we're not gonna do that.
long-term accusations. This is not something that popped up originally. This is something
Correct.
that I remember hearing
Correct.
as a wee lad in a single-digit age category. and
A
being
wee
like,
lad.
A wee lad.
You must have been
We're
very
dating
young.
ourselves.
Right, you
Yeah.
must have been really young.
Yeah.
Remember when
it's,
TVs were standard def?
with the box on the
Yeah.
back?
Remember
Wow.
antennas on the top?
Jeez.
Ugh.
Dial up.
Knobs?
Here's
You kids even know what a knob is?
Here's the only thing I will say is I know everyone wants to see the Patriots go down. Everyone does. I do think one, they haven't gotten away with everything. Okay, they got caught for Deflategate, and I believe got over punished for it. Really,
He destroyed his cell phone.
I mean, they got over. He deflated a football.
Patriots sympathizer at the table with us.
Bro, if your girl said, "Let me see this email from
and she
work,"
Gronk spikes it on the ground,
and you destroyed that, like they. No.
But at the same time, when Tom Brady deflated footballs, we had other quarterbacks from around the league come out and say they do the exact same thing and have done it worse than what Tom Brady has done and said, I didn't even know it was illegal.
Right.
That's just how I like my footballs.
Right, but extrapolate the data.
So
what else was on that cell phone?
I don't know. And we'll never know because it's smashed into oblivion.
and we'll never will.
But for what they were, one, you can't indict someone, you can't charge someone, like you can't accuse someone of something you didn't indict them for. So like that's not what they were looking for the phone. So anything else they find is irrelevant. Two, let's not act like they've gotten away with every single thing. So what I will say is, I hope that the Patriots weren't actually videotaping the Bengals sideline. Because the Patriots right now are a 10-win football team. The Patriots right now are the number 2 seed in the AFC. The Browns have 1 win on the season. Sorry, an 11-win football team now after yesterday. If you are going to risk it for the biscuit like this, you better do it in the AFC Championship game. You better do it in the Super Bowl. Do not do it in the regular season for a team you are going to beat in your sleep with one hand tied behind Brady's back. It doesn't make sense. So if, yes, the Patriots have cheated before. Yes, they probably will try it again. I just sincerely hope that this whole thing was a coincidence and they were not trying it on the Cincinnati Bengals. For what reason? For what reason is the only thing I would ask. For what?
Well, I guess the only thing to say is, Patriots, do your job and keep cheating.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to, you're welcome. We're going to move on to another group of people who shouldn't have sympathizers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well said. I was going to say everybody hates, but made it sound way nicer
they,
than me.
they should not. So the NFL referees are constantly under fire.
It's insane. How did they get? It's like every year. It's like owners' meetings. We need to fix refereeing and this
Right.
and this and this. And it's just like week 15 rolls around every year, and every year everyone's like, "Hey, my team got screwed in this game, this game, this game, and this game," and every team has a legitimate claim to that. Every single team.
It's ridiculous. And now it's gotten to the point where they reviewed a kickoff and gave Dallas the ball in the second half. Because of how do you mess up?
They reviewed the coin flip. They literally went back and pulled the audio.
Like the game didn't even start yet.
Toss.
And you got to review.
So there's this picture that's going around of an NFL referee. I believe it might have been Boger, leaping into the stands at Lambeau Field. We got an NFL referee.
Not a good look.
It was. It
Not a
was.
good look.
It was. If it was Photoshop, you did a very good job.
Yeah, not a good look.
My man was doing it at Lambeau Leap.
He called a hell of a game. He deserves
Hey,
this.
that's. You know what? You got that penalty flag 25 yards in the air. Get in the stands.
And I'm not really sure what the fix is. I'm not even really sure what the next step is for the NFL.
There has to be something that
There's gotta
comes
be a
from
step.
this league-wide review of every ref.
Yeah.
There is. Walt Anderson's crew has called 31 more penalties than the next refereeing crew in the league. That 31. Can you imagine a single NFL football game with 31 penalties in it?
That's like 2.5 whole Raiders games.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. Not John Gruden Raiders, but every coach before.
Jack
John
Del
Gruden.
Rio Raiders for
Yeah,
sure.
Jack Del Rio Raiders. Yeah.
For sure. I think one of the problems comes with it's funny. The more complicated you make the rules, the more complicated you make the rules, if that makes sense. Like the more stipulations you put on a simple thing, the more subjectivity there is to it, the more margin for error there is. And I think if you're putting so many calculations on these rules that it's almost putting the refs in a bind. It's a damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of thing.
I'll say this. The one thing the NFL has gotten right in terms of rules and officiating over the last couple of years, they changed the catch rule back to if it looks like he has a catch, just call it a catch.
Right.
Don't worry about the feet or the possession or all that. If it looks like the receiver gets
he's
2
got-
feet in bounds
and
with enough
possession
possession
of the ball,
yeah. If it bobbles a little bit when a large human in shoulder pads and a helmet hits the ground and the ball moves a little bit, it's probably still a catch because they had it the whole way going down, right? That's the one thing the NFL has gotten right over the last handful of years. And why? Because they made it simple. They made it simple. Referees, it's, look, as someone who reffed at like the second lowest possible level ever, college intramural is the only thing underneath that is like
Yes.
youth sports. Like realistically, like
Don't belittle.
I'm not belittling, but let's be honest. It's
what I was
easier to
about to
follow an 8-year-olds playing basketball.
And
than
some
it
of
is
those reps
in-
are atrocious. You're lucky you didn't
I
watch
know.
Mighty movie. I was
I'm saying like
Whoa.
I didn't even find it that easy to referee. People my age.
It's so fast.
Exactly. It's fast as hell. I couldn't even like. I do sympathize with refs to the extent of like, hey, I know it's hard, but I also know damn well if there's 9 of you on the field and nobody has more than like a 15-yard square radius to cover with their own eyes, you should not be getting calls wrong regularly.
And I understand that being a referee is hard, but it's the same thing that I put on professional athletes. Look, I'm not saying I could go out and do what I'm telling you to do, but you are a professional. You are the top 1% in the world at your job. You are handpicked out of millions. You get paid well to do what you do. You get trained extensively by the best people in the world to do what you do. So when I see you mess up a routine thing that you get paid a whole hell of a lot of money to do, I'm going to be mad because it's your job.
Also,
you know what I mean?
One last thing before I'm assuming we're about to move on. The fact that the pass interference calls are now starting to actually be reversed and the coaches challenge
good sign.
there was like a 5-week period where there was like 3 of them done total because coaches were just baffled of what the point of the rule was. And now it feels like you're almost kind of ready for it. It almost feels like the rule's working now, but after it hasn't worked for 14 weeks, it's like, well, what the hell are we doing?
I have a feeling it's going to hit a point where it's just going to revert right back to not working again. And Twitter is
Because you
gonna
know what?
explode.
And I saw it about like week 6, 7, or 8. I forget what game
Yeah, it
I
was
was
right in
watching.
that. It was right in like the heart
right
of
in
the
that
season,
area,
right there.
a
yeah.
coach threw a flag to challenge a non-pass interference call saying it was pass interference. They reviewed it, and it came out that it was defensive holding, but not pass interference. The coach, thinking that he found something, is fist pumping. Yeah, we saw something on the Jumbotron,
turns out
and they
hurt
came
them.
back. We can't overturn it
challenged.
because you challenged pass interference. That is another thing that's making the rules more complicated. Well, it's like now I'm mad because I saw that there was clearly a penalty, but it's not the penalty I challenged for.
That's the
so I
part
still
that
don't
makes
get it.
me mad is you're going to go back and review something else and find something else wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like it's
And
whatever.
there's
We're gonna
probably a
move on.
penalty on every play. Like it's football. There's a
My
penalty.
last
There's
note
no
on this:
way.
replays need to be done in real time. It's slow motion.
Thank you.
Every single thing that you look at in slow motion can be pass interference or not.
And I think there should be a limit on either how long or how many angles. If I look at the only 3 angles I have and I don't see it, I'm not going to look at them 7 times. If I didn't see it the first 1 or 2 times,
Messes up the flow of the game.
it's not there. You know what I mean? That's what definitive means. If
Agreed.
I can't look at it one time and see it, I'm moving on.
Call us,
Fidel,
Roger.
yeah,
We have the
Roger.
fix.
You just heard it. Unfortunately, what we just have is trademarks. So again, my number's at the bottom of the screen. You can just for the rights.
And
know
also,
what I mean?
you can make up some ground with Patriots fans.
Yeah,
We got one on the staff.
Ooh, woof. So moving on.
Whoa, wait a
into-
minute. I just caught that.
no. Not your 30. So we're going to move on to our feel-good story of the week. I'm sure you all saw this, and if you didn't, head to ESPN's Instagram page and check it out. Newtown High scored on a miraculously thrown ball.
Beautiful throw ball.
Hell of a throw.
Beautifully thrown ball.
In
That's
the fourth
Huddle. That's
quarter,
Huddle.com right there.
Oh, walk-off touchdown pass in the driving rain.
To win the
And
state
that's
chip.
to win the state championship, and that is not the most important part. They won a state championship 7 years to the day of the Sandy Hook Massacre.
I think it's worth noting, you skipped one important detail. This is the corresponding high school for that.
same
place.
one,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yep,
I
yep.
assumed you knew that. It's Sandy Hook into Newtown High. I apologize.
Yep.
It's okay, because I just have to clarify that so I can set myself up. So, did some minor digging on this, because, I mean, obviously, it's like, if there's 6 elementary schools in the district, those kids have to funnel to some high school, right? So, but I couldn't get a just hard number. Several players did attend Sandy Hook when the shooting happened, and one of the players did lose his brother in that event, right? So, as if this isn't enough for a community to come together over, these are the kids who are on the front line. Like, oh my God, I can't imagine having to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
And that speaks to a whole lot. That speaks to, one, the character of not only the players who were personally or indirectly affected by the Sandy Hook Massacre, but the entire community as a
Takes a
whole.
village, yeah.
You know how strong a community has to be to not only get over an event like that, but move on and do something great, something that has nothing to do with it, and rally around something and beat another team. That's beautiful. 2, the opposing team took to Twitter right afterwards and gave them so much respect and gratification for being able to play that game, move on. I give a lot of dap and a lot of respect to the high school that they beat. Can't remember the exact school that they beat, but got to give them respect for that too. But that's just another example of sports rights stories that the best writers in Hollywood couldn't even imagine.
There's nothing we can say here that
puts this
Exactly.
that adequately does this
This
justice.
is so much greater than words, and honestly, you get chills watching the video. So what we're saying does not do this justice.
Yeah.
You need to see this, because like we said, it is a feel-good story.
And the outpouring, that when you see the kid who caught the touchdown pass, when you see him rip off his helmet and just run, just pure jubilation, coursing through him. You can feel it through the TV.
And one thing that I didn't notice from my first watch of this clip, so I guess the district that school district doesn't have consistent color schemes for all of their schools or whatever. So that the high school that won, their colors I believe are blue and white. Sandy Hook's school color is kind of like a dark, like not like super dark, but like a not your regular green, but a little bit darker than that.
Okay.
And if you look in the background, you can see some of that color kind of spotted in. Like the Newtown supporters actually showed up to that game, most of them wearing green instead of
There you go.
blue and white.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. Like we said, guys, we're here to bring you a little bit of cheer, and I hope that did it for you. So getting in between the main event and rapid fire, this is what we call halftime. And as always, we are brought to you by Hit 'em High. Hit 'em High is our second sports show with Seth Joyner. So we call
Your
it
second
Hit 'em-
sports show.
Yeah, well, us as
As
a
a
whole here,
team.
trust the process. So Hit 'em High with Seth Joyners. The day immediately following every Eagles game, high noon. The dude has not lost a step. Like, not only could he get out there and lay someone
Still sharp
the
as a
F
tack.
out, the dude is, like you said, as sharp as a tack. He knows every coverage out there. He can call an offense and a defense, but don't get us wrong. He wants to be calling a defense. He wants to lay people out. He wants to call
I believe it.
he wants to come downhill on you. So that is brought to you by MyNEWPhilly every day immediately following every Eagles game. Check it out, facebook.com/MyNEWPhilly. Same thing on YouTube and Twitch TV if you want to take a break in between Fortnite rounds.
There you go.
Oh, if
Yeah.
you're a gamer.
Oh, yeah. If you're,
First of
well,
us.
Heard
yeah,
Fortnite's
yeah.
going down a little bit though.
Good.
Oh, right.
So we're getting into rapid fire. So you guys know the rules. We're going to keep it short and sweet.
Short and
Rapid
sweet.
fire. Hey, put them down. Put them down.
This is why the Eagles can't win 2 games. 'Cause look at
Why?
you.
'Cause
Act-
that
acting
is
a
2 in a
fool.
row, baby.
Why?
Acting a
Is
fool.
Carson Wentz's finger gun?
Yeah, acting a
Is
fool.
that? Yeah, so.
My quarterback had a perfect fourth quarter yesterday, statistically not
Are,
opinionated.
are the practice squad reinforcements Greg Ward and Boston Scott? Are they for real? Are they enough?
Are they enough to do what? Are they enough to do what?
I mean, I don't see, are they enough on here? I'm looking for it. I don't see
I'm
it.
asking you. Are they enough?
Are
to
they
do-
enough?
They are enough
At
to
this
go on
point,
that. They're
you don't
enough
have a
to play.
choice because you know what? I'm looking at just their box score from yesterday. Greg Ward, 7 catches on 10 targets, 61 yards, and a touchdown, and probably the 3rd best individual performance by an Eagles receiver all season in just his 2nd or 3rd game active. Boston Scott, 13 touches, barely over 60 yards total scrimmage, but a couple big key catches for first downs, especially in the 4th quarter. He was huge. Look, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that both of these guys are, this is the first step to them to the Hall of Fame. Let's be honest. Probably not going to happen. But I think that confidence goes a long way in any sport that you play. Boston Scott, playing confidently. Greg Ward, I don't know how you can be more confident after you moss someone for a game-winning touchdown with less than 30 seconds.
Bring Randy into
I just did. Randy Ward Jr.,
Oh, my
former college quarterback. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they are going to be perennial Pro Bowlers or All-Stars, but I think it goes without saying that they have given this team a spark on offense, the 2 of them, and they are without question, well, Scott is not the best option at running back, but I think it's without question that at this point that Greg Ward is our best option at wide receiver, not pass.
Just because Greg Ward is your best option at wide receiver doesn't mean Greg Ward is for real. That just means he's your best option at wide receiver.
My man's been grinding away for 2 years, has had the backing
That's by
of
default.
every single person in that locker room, including our guy Malcolm Jenkins, who has been pushing for him.
You got no choice. You got no choice. What is he going to say? No, I don't like Greg Ward, and go to who? He's got no choice but to say Greg Ward is the guy.
He's been saying it before he was on the active
You have no
roster.
choice but to say Boston Scott is who we got to go with moving forward after Miles Sanders, because there's nobody else there.
Oh, Jay Ajayi, brother.
This is what I'll say. One, I do actually think Boston Scott, you guys found one in Boston Scott. I like the way he runs with a lot of energy, plays the running back position with a lot of energy. But I do not think Boston Scott and or Greg Ward are guys who can rely on for the future to play a full game with that level of production. Because for a full game, when you're not playing, the Giants and the Washington Redskins,
whoa.
you
We're
will
throwing
get
stipulations out here.
you will get
Oh
what
my
when you're
God.
not playing. Are you not going to play full games? Not against.
I'm just saying,
Washington
Boston
Redskins.
Scott literally willed us to victory. I don't
Okay,
care how
all right,
bad the Giants are.
but-
He
but-
willed us to victory in that game.
Yeah, so
He got a full minute and a half.
If the New Orleans Saints couldn't find anything in Boston Scott, I have a hard time believing a 2-game sample. Is all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
Teams miss all the time. Every year,
Against
teams get
two
contributions
teams.
from
So
guys who are
let's
nobodies.
pivot to the better option than Boston Scott, the kid who was breaking records set by possibly one of the best Philadelphia Eagles running backs ever. Is
The best.
Let's not say that out loud.
Yeah, that's too much.
Because Montgomery, everything, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Will Miles Sanders have a better career than our Brian Westbrook?
Let me originally and ask James and ask Sean off camera there. I scoffed when I read
did.
this. I
Scoffed.
scoffed like this when
Yeah,
I
like
when I
that.
first
Just like that.
read this question. Then I thought about it and thought about the type of running back Brian Westbrook was, and then think about the type of running back Miles Sanders is. I would say they have more similarities than I thought.
Very comparable.
Very comparable running backs. Miles Sanders is hitting this stride very young, and Miles Sanders has shown the ability to be very integral in the part of the Eagles' offense moving forward. If he has the same level of production he has this year, carrying a 5, 6, 7-year stretch with the Eagles, then I think he has a chance to have.
I think it needs to be a little bit more than 7
I
years,
bet.
just because of how
long
and
Brian
good
Westbrook
Brian
did it.
Westbrook was.
But I mean, if he's having 1,000, to 1,200 all-purpose yards a season for 5, 6 seasons, that might be. It's a different lane than what Brian Westbrook did, but the career might be a little bit better.
I think we can say that Miles Sanders will probably never, hopefully, oh God, I'm not saying it out loud. I hope he's never asked to do as much as Brian Westbrook had to do
Yes,
for the Eagles
very
That's
good
true.
point.
from,
Very
from
good point.
2001 to 2006.
Good point.
But in terms of career success, I mean, let's be honest, there are more numbers in general going around for running backs, both running and passing. So if you want to look at it purely statistically, he's probably on pace. Obviously, rookie scrimmage record for the Eagles. Let's be honest, the Eagles were a really, really good team back then, but it feels like they're not maybe necessarily this season, but in general, they're run more complete than the Eagles were. So if you want to define success as career accomplishments and victories and everything, we watched that Eagles team. I mean, I probably did more than you guys. I watched that Eagles team break my heart year after year. And
Yeah, but that Jim Johnson defense was on another level.
yeah, but we're talking about the running backs here. I'm saying in terms.
Okay, you said complete team.
Okay, that's fair. I'm saying in terms of a complete team and the situation that the Eagles are in now compared to where they were,
Yeah.
I feel like
that
he's
too.
destined for better success. I feel like has a better offense around him. Maybe,
offensive line.
but definitely a better offensive line. I'm just say definitely not as good as a defense.
Sorry,
but
Runyon.
yeah.
Sorry.
But look, it's as simple as it depends on how you want to measure it. Honestly, to guys that were, Brian Westbrook guys, they were there for the prime of the Eagles, and they were our age when the Eagles were that good. They'll probably never think that Sanders is better than Brian Westbrook, regardless of what eyes and numbers say.
Right.
That's true. So it's truly a matter of preference. But I think if you want to just look at it like statistically, analytically, strictly taking opinions out of it, then he is probably on pace to have a better career.
Fair. So we just talked about a group of guys who, let's say, wouldn't be picked up in an expansion draft.
Good, nice way of putting it.
We're sugarcoating it here a little bit.
Yeah.
Whenever that Wildcat takes off,
The-
man, Greg Ward's going to be at a premium. You guys laugh now.
Let's go. I'd love to see that.
It's
So
gonna, I guarantee you it happens once in the Dallas game.
the
Promising
team
it.
that they are facing, the Dallas Cowboys,
Cowboys week.
have a stable of offensive weapons who would be picked up in an expansion draft.
Absolutely.
So the fact that I can still smell Ronald Darby from being burnt, what does that tell you about? Mike, the question is, can the secondary stop what Dallas has to offer?
No.
Yeah, nice.
Honestly, we cannot stop this. This is going to be, cliche as it sounds, this is going to be a team game. There are going to be series where the defense looks absolutely terrible. There will be series where the defense looks great.
yeah.
There will be series where the offense looks absolutely terrible, and there will be series where the offense looks great.
Yeah.
This is going to be probably as classic of an Eagles-Cowboys game in the 21st century that you can think of.
Yes.
It'll be back and forth.
Yes.
It will most likely end with a 5-point or less point differential in the final
It's a body
score.
bag game.
You think?
Oh, it's a body bag game.
Okay.
Oh my
It's-
God,
it's-
there's so much hate about to go down this
It's
weekend.
it's an ugly game for sure. It's a scramble game. It might just come down to who's got the ball last at the end, for better or for
Like
worse.
damn near every Eagles game that's happened this
That's what I'm
season.
saying. And to answer the question, no, I don't think that the Eagles secondary can stop the Dallas wide receiving core. I would also argue that they may not need to.
Fair.
I
True.
think that if
Let's hope.
Music to my ears, dude.
Fingers crossed. I think so far this season, what I see with the Cowboys is they go as Zeke goes. If you could really bottle up Zeke and make Dak be the one to truly beat you, I don't think he has enough in that tank to be able to get it done, even with that good wide receiving core. You really not allow Zeke to get going. You make the Cowboys offense real one-dimensional, and I think you can force Dak into some bad situations. You don't have to stop the Dallas wide receiving core, but if the Eagles do that, and then the secondary can make one play, get a turnover, make a big stop on third down, do one play that stems the tide, and I think you come out with a win.
I think the good thing is also one thing to hold on to is the coaching staff. While there may be many positions that people want changed in the Eagles coaching staff, I would still give them an edge over the Cowboys, simply because in the games that the Cowboys are airing it out, they will continue to air it out and then misjudge when the time it is to run. They will run when they should not and lose the game that way because they remember, oh my God, we have Ezekiel Elliott. We should probably stop throwing the ball now. And now they have no momentum. They have nothing. So you can rely. It's as sure a bet as anything out there that Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett are going to let the Cowboys down. I think that's fair to say.
Wow, I am getting overwhelming support from you two on this question.
Surprising, right?
I was not expecting this. I really wasn't.
I want you to have a good Monday.
Thank you.
That's
I would love to have.
I like when you dance and have finger guns.
Thank you.
So
way more fun than being depressed over the
oh,
Eagles.
it is. But going off of that, and you can include the secondary if you want. There have been a number of players who have not lived up to either their billing or their contract this year. So let's not throw bust into this, but let's say who has to overcome their disappointment label this year? Who has let you down to this point?
Oh.
As a group?
Let's go player.
Player?
Let's go singular player who needs to step it up and can change this game.
Singular player to step it up. I wish you said group, because as a group I was going to go the offensive line.
Linebackers?
I was going to go the offensive line. I think Carson needs to be kept clean. And kept clean to the point where
DeMarcus Lawrence can wreck a game.
he can absolutely wreck a game. Absolutely wreck a game. Michael Bennett, as a lot of people know, when he gets on, can wreck a game. And I think Carson's ability to escape pressure isn't the problem. It's Carson's ability to hold on to the football when pressure gets to him is the problem. Eliminate. If I'm the Eagles offensive line plus running backs plus tight ends, protection. Like you have to eliminate that ability from Carson Wentz, because he's proven, especially with his depleted receiving core, he's proven that when pressure collapses, he feels too much sense of urgency to make a huge play.
He's still looking downfield.
He doesn't throw the ball away. He doesn't just get down when he needs to and live to see second and third down, or even just live to punt and play field position after that. Yeah. He's going to try to do something more. Sometimes it works, but too many times it hasn't. So eliminate that problem if you're the Eagles offensive line. Don't let anybody get to Carson.
I was going to say Carson needs to be the player 7 injured when he threw the bust curveball at me. These guys necessarily haven't been bust, but this is the game that Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham need to be the guys that we know and love in this city, the guys that we still think are the 2017 versions of themselves, for better or worse, because that's what we do. Fans and ownership. I was going to get to this at some point, and it's my last chance. Ownership has not done its job in moving on from people at the right time. We've seen that. But
you said it before.
I've said it before.
You agree.
I'll spit it straight. I love that team. That 2017 team. I'd tattoo all their names on me if I could fit it.
I haven't heard this conversation come up around Fletcher Cox's name, though.
I mean, I'm not saying Cox is one of the few outliers. But in general, guys.
Oh, okay. I'm with you with Brandon Graham, with Jason Peters, but
exactly.
I was.
I'm saying that as a general statement. Cox is obviously, regardless of what he's shown this year, he's on a different level as a defensive player.
Yeah,
so I am going to say that this needs to be the game. Those two guys specifically, they are the heart and soul of that defensive front seven. Malcolm obviously does his thing with all the people that run and follow the receivers around. They don't cover them. They just follow them around. But This needs to be the game that nobody runs up the middle because Fletcher Cox is taking up a center and a guard, and you need to push him to the outside. And the people on the ends like Brandon Graham and Curry, who I should have mentioned as well for being a guy that should have, I mean, he did leave, but they brought him back because that's as far as our scouting department goes.
You got him back because we didn't want him anymore.
That's fine. we took him back because we're like, hey, we know you. Get on over here, you rascal. Yeah. That's what happened. This needs to be the game that the defensive line takes over because you're right. It's as Zeke goes, the Cowboys go. And no offense is good when they're one-dimensional, regardless of how good their wide receiver and quarterback plays.
I'm going to say Rodney McLeod just because he needs to be the center fielder to let Malcolm Jenkins play. Malcolm Jenkins is not a coverage guy anymore. He needs to be in the box. He needs to hit people. It's just what it is. So if Rodney can play a good center field, that completely changes the defense, I feel. That's it for rapid fire, guys. So who wants to go first on tap outs?
I can. I actually got one.
We're excited.
I'm geared up this week.
Excited.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone has dealt with this. At some point, your phone charger just dies.
Oh yeah.
It just dies.
I love where you're going with
Just
this.
one day, it's like,
Absolutely love it.
all right, I only wiggle around the wire.
Accessory not supported.
Bend the wire, pull at the bottom.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, I got it in the right spot. So it's charged. Okay, now it's not. All right, be like, all right, this phone charger's done. My phone charger broke on me 10 days ago. And guess who has still not taken 5 seconds out of their day to go find a new one? I have been bumming off my girlfriend, my 4 roommates. We have a community charger in our living room that I use every night before bed. And I have a charger at work. I have not taken 30 seconds to go to a CVS, a Rite Aid, a Walgreens.
Don't let the man get you, Max.
Damn near any store in this country will sell you a phone charger. And I am doing my best
For
to
like
not buy one.
$15.
Exactly. And you know what it
You
is?
stand tall.
You know what it is? She's not going to see this. I am testing my girlfriend to see if she will buy me one for Christmas.
Huge.
I'm so
And that's,
proud of you.
I am committed to this. I want to see if she can hit the layup. I want to see it.
That's right there for
So
I'm so proud of you, Max.
updates to come, but the charger broke and she brought hers over the next day. I'm like, at this point, just, I'll just keep using hers.
There you go.
That's good.
I like that.
We'll see if that's a stocking stuffer for you.
Hey, you
crossed.
don't
All right.
don't conform. Don't give in to the man. You hold down on that charger.
I will. You know I'm gonna.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying it on camera. I'm a man of my word.
There you go.
Tap us out.
So my tap out is not similar at all, actually. But on last Friday was my dad's birthday, and he turned 55. Called double
Happy
nickels.
birthday, Papa Jackson.
Thank you. My dad's not one for birthdays. My dad hasn't really celebrated his birthday. He doesn't make a big deal about it.
I get it.
You know what I mean? And he's getting to that age where it doesn't need to be a big spectacle. But for everyone out there, especially people our age whose parents are starting to get a little bit older, they don't need any tangible thing for their birthday. Right. They don't need any over-the-top, big, overwhelming. Some people like it, but that's not what they need. They just need to know that people still remember them, people still appreciate them, people still care about them. I brought my little brother over. Me and my dad and my little brother went to the batting cages, then went and played basketball, and then got pizza afterwards. And my dad has not stopped talking about it all weekend. He brought it up in church. He called my grandma. All of that. Like, I can truly tell that he truly appreciated it. So my long-winded tap out is just to say that please don't forget your parents' birthday. It's as simple as getting them a card, cake, and saying happy birthday and letting them blow out the candle. Just being there. Like, just support your parents because Lord knows they've done so much for us for our birthdays. The least we can do is try to reciprocate a little bit. So that's my tap out.
Well said.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was awesome.
Young gentleman.
Young gentleman.
Hey,
yes,
there you go.
Thank you.
All right. My tap out is one that I'm hoping some of you can relate to. I am one of those guys that doesn't forget the birthdays or the dates of holidays or anything. I just forget the time between the current date and that date.
Okay.
I know, yeah.
I have no presents.
Yeah.
I have not shopped.
Preach. I got one.
I'm not even saying at all. I still need to get like shampoo and body wash for myself.
Yeah.
I can't even it's bad. It's not good. So I am an Amazon Prime member. I'm gonna go home for probably about 4 hours and scour. I'm talking about like page like 30 something on Amazon. I'm going to be deep. And those need to get here Friday.
Yeah.
Not only that, I have no idea how to wrap presents. Yeah. So you're getting a gift bag.
Yeah,
that's just what
absolutely.
it is.
All my presents come in gift bags.
Right.
You like it.
You want me to spend 2 hours wrapping a present? No.
I always tell people, you don't want me to wrap this present.
No.
It's going to diminish the present. You're not going to want to open it.
I would rather you just open my Amazon box because
honestly,
that's better.
To be honest,
better
I'd rather
packaged.
just give it
Amazon, wrap the boxes.
to you. Ooh. Not only have we fixed the NFL officiating, we fixed Amazon at the holidays.
Jesus, this is
We're good.
Thank you.
we are good.
Yeah,
All
we're
in
good
under
there.
30 minutes. Under 30 minutes. About 30 minutes.
Roughly 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Ish.
roughly-ish.
So if you're like me and haven't done any holiday shopping, first go get your shampoo and body wash, and then stop by Walmart or
do something.
go online to Amazon. Yeah.
Remember, your Secret Santa wants alcohol.
There you
Yes. Always booze. Booze, booze, booze. Can never go wrong with
go. Or a
booze.
Visa gift card. I'll take a Visa gift card.
True. But that is another episode of Trust the Process in the books, guys.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for watching. Trust the Process Live, brought to you by MyNEWPhilly, where something is always new and everything's always Philly.
O's in the air. Oscar Strong.
Yes. Hey, vote Oscar Lindblom
Lindblom.
to the NHL All-Star Game. Oscar Strong.
Much love. Go Flyers. We didn't even talk Sixers today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Turn this shit off. Sixers trade for Chris Paul.